Rule-based living is like having training wheels on your bicycle. It makes you so you can't fall over. But how many of you like riding a bike with training wheels? I mean, as soon as I could get rid of those things, I got them off there. You know, Dad got out that 10-millimeter wrench, it was off the American-made bicycle, yes, took that nut off of there, took off those training wheels, and I took off down the sidewalk. I was free, and then pretty soon I was picking myself up off old Mrs. Beasley's flower bed because I went rolling and spilled and smashed against her wall and landed in her flower bed. But I was happy to be free of those training wheels. And I worked at it till I didn't have to use training wheels at all anymore. But that's the way law-based living is, where you can do this, but you can't do that. You can do this, you can't do that. And so I give you a rule, and you follow that rule until you're on terrain that it doesn't work. Has anybody ever tried riding a training wheels on a gravel road? Or across the lawn? Pretty soon you're doing because you're hung up on a high point and the tire's not touching. Training wheels were only meant for pavement and smooth surfaces. And so if I raise my children with law-based rule, legalism, do this, don't do this, don't do this, they're going to grow up into a world that doesn't have pavement. And then they're going to go, I don't know what to do. But if I can teach them how to balance, see, that's the goal. Not to have training wheels, but how to balance the bike. If you learn how to balance the bike, you can go up and down mountainsides. Once you've got the principle of balance. And this is how I've got to understand, keep things vertical in everything that I do. Yes. That's the principle. Yes. Is that God gets glory from everything. And as soon as he comes out of focus, I'm going down. Right. But if my focus is on God, I'm keeping the relationship vertical correct, I'm going to handle whatever terrain he sends me into. This is the mindset we've got to have to stay in the kingdom. If we say, well, Lord, what about this? Lord, my brother, tell him to divide the inheritance with me. And Jesus says, why should I make rules about the situation? Let's talk about the principle. Greed's a hateful thing. Your life doesn't consist in the abundance of things that you have. Let me tell you a story that will give you a principle. Now, who was guilty there? The guy that wanted the money or the man who was hogging it all? Nobody says. Maybe they both are wrong. But Jesus presents the principle, and they've got to choose to adapt that to their terrain. Because see, a poor person can be greedy, and a rich person can be greedy. Greed is the sin, not your bottom line in your bank account. There can be people that are good for nothing that are proud, and there's people that are good at everything that are proud. There's nothing wrong with being good at everything, and there's nothing wrong with not having any distinguishable skills if you can't. The problem is thinking too highly of yourself. That's right. That's exactly right. Amen. So the principle is the thing.